So I did research, and I found Dr. Hutchinson, and I knew once I came down after the testing, and after you felt a difference in the results after a week or two. I knew I was in the right place.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Hutchison here with John, and John has been a patient of mine for approximately 2 years. And this is the first time that we've seen you in about, I would say, a year and 3 months. And you were doing great, but tell us a little bit about what first brought you in to seek care and kind of where you've come from there.
So I got a spine-related trauma in 2019, the summer of 2019, and it, went undiagnosed for a year. I got a digital motion X-ray up north from near where I'm from, and I actually found Dr. Brian on YouTube and did my research and decided to make a visit back in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. And John, so you live in Brooklyn, New York, and it was a big deal for you to come all the way down to Florida. But when you came down here, you had what I would consider to be a life-threatening condition.
Yeah.
You would turn your neck just barely left or right, and your heart rate would go up to 180. You felt like, you were about to explode. You were like panicking. You couldn't work. You were confined to living. I think at that time, were you living with your parent?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to go back home.
Choice.
You were living with your parents. You couldn't work. You could barely. You said you couldn't even walk down the street,
Yeah.
right?
I had my heart rate jumping.
Without your heart rate jumping. And so basically, if we fast forward, John has just about completely recovered. He had done a comprehensive rehabilitative plan to his spine. And recently, how long ago was it that you got whacked on the head?
April 6th.
Okay.
We're going on about a month.
A month.
Yeah.
So a month ago, he had a work injury where he sustained a significant blow to the head. And since then, he had a very small return of some of the symptoms that were starting to scare him. Yeah. Tell us, what did you start to feel again after that whack on the head?
The first symptom is, for me at least, is when, like when I start talking or I get a little too loud, I get excited. I'm very animated. So like, I'll start getting a little bit of head pressure. Every time I talk, it feels like a throbbing in the brain, like when it feels just like when your heart's throbbing. It just feels up here though. And then also too, I'm back in the gym and everything like that. And you feel the difference, you get lightheaded very quickly.
Okay, so you were getting more of like the throbbing in the head, lightheaded quickly. Yeah. You were starting, and those were some of the like earlier symptoms that you had in conjunction with the crazy heart rate, which hasn't come back, thank God.
Thank God.
But so anyway, we got him down here again after he was doing great for over a year, and we found that there was a mild regression in his curve from the best spot that we had gotten to, but his curve was still 75% better than the initial presentation. So despite sustaining a blow to the head, because we got you in such a good, strong position, you've only regressed, I would say, a percentage, but nowhere near where you were. Over the last day and a half, we've figured out how to get his neck curve back to normal, open up the jugular veins, and people have asked, well, the jugular veins, they should in some way get smaller when you're upright, but they shouldn't close entirely. You still want those to be a drainage system for you while you're in your upright. When you lay down, they might be, 100 in area, and when you're upright, ideally, we want to see them closer to 20. And John's on the left were almost completely 0 yesterday. And on the right, they were open a little bit. I think we had a measurement of 8, maybe something else close to that. With the weights on and in the exact position, they're open above 20 and in some spots close to 20. So he feels good wearing them. We did a couple fine-tuning adjustments, and now we're going to follow up with you. So we have weekly Zoom calls scheduled where we're going to check in on how you're doing your weights, make sure your office setup is right. We're going to stay in touch with you. But how do you feel right now?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel a little better over the past couple of days I've been here than when I did the other, I know I'm a lot more relieved because I know I know what's wrong, and we got it right away. I came down here as soon as I could. and I know I'm on the right track. Even yesterday when we did the position the first time, it felt like everything opened up right here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I didn't even know you didn't even tell me about the left side yet. So when I did it, you felt everything. It felt like everything was running smoothly. That's the way I can put it.
Good. So after we fit you yesterday, you could tell that like things were running smoothly. Something opened up on the left.
It felt like a pipe was clogged and you unclogged and it went right through. Like that's really what it felt like. Now that I'm thinking of, like I thought of it yesterday. Like when we did it, I said it. I was like, wow. I was like, you feel it.
Good.
Yeah,
So John could tell that his jugular vein was opening, even though he didn't know that's what was happening. He felt like a pipe was opening. You felt better clarity potentially, So anyway, John, it's really been a pleasure to get to know you, to help you on your journey. I consider us almost as kind of like friends now too, which has been fun. We give personal care here, and so thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely became friends. So the first time I came down to Fort Myers to see Doc, I was here. I spent a few months down here because I was in that bad of shape. I had to drive. I couldn't fly. And you could just tell. Obviously, one, I healed and I got about 90 to 95% back of my normal life. Like I said, I was back to work, back in the gym. I know every time I have a problem now, I call down and they answer the phone and they talk to me. Remember, too, we were on the phone for about 10, 15 minutes. You're answering all my concerns. I get very anxious. I still have, I guess a little bit of PTSD. I always get, it was scary times that I went through with the original injury. I went undiagnosed for so long. But the one thing I can recommend is if you have a condition, I don't know what you're going to go through with regular doctors. When I say regular, I mean like, your primary care, neurologist, cardiologist. I was getting sent for all these different tests and doctors were telling me, you have anxiety, you need to calm down and see a psych. Or I had other doctors tell me there's something wrong, but I can't help you. Keep looking for answers because that's what I did. When I finally found a digital motion x-ray, I had to travel from New York to Pennsylvania, and he told me the only way to fix it was to get a surgery. And at first I was like, anything to fix this. And I saw that surgeon and he told me he wanted to connect my spine to my skull. And that didn't sound okay for me. I didn't want to live my life like that. So I did research and, I found Dr. Hutchinson and, everything is history from there. And I knew once I came down after the testing and after you felt the difference in the results after a week or two. I knew I was in the right place. I used to get blood pool. My hands would turn purple. That was the first thing. I felt relief. And then I would see my hands and feet weren't purple anymore. And then over time, the symptoms went away. And like I said, I got my life back. And I'm very grateful, and I know I'm back on the right track. So that's why I'm here, and I know within the next month or two, I'll be feeling great again.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, John, for the testimonial. I'm so glad you're getting better.
Yeah, thank you.